Graham so he can get
All right,
his-
Mr. Hook, is Assad a friend of the United States?
No.
Do you consider him a war criminal?
Yes.
Okay, do you think is he aligned with Iran?
Iran has been supporting Assad
Without
over the last
Iran
8 years.
helping Assad, he would not be around because Hezbollah came to his aid when nobody else would. You agree with that?
Yes,
I
Iran
think
was
you're
an
a
early
good-
supporter of Assad.
Yeah, well, Russia and Iran keep Assad functioning. Yeah, you're a good man. You're a good choice for this. So my questions are really not about you and your policies. It's about this president's policies. I could not agree more with Senator Markey. This is the most screwed up decision I've seen since I've been in Congress. When the president said today, Syria, the invasion of Turkey, Turkey's invasion of Syria is really of no consequence to us. Do you know why we sanctioned Turkey, if that's true, Mr. Hook?
The president did threaten sanctions on Friday and has imposed some of them on Monday.
And I
That's as
cheered
much
them
as
on. I don't know how in the world Pompeo and Pence bring an end to the bloodshed before they leave the president Syria. If Syria wants to fight for their land, that's up to Turkey and Syria. So I view the situation on the Turkish border with Syria to be, for the United States, strategically brilliant. I don't see anything brilliant about this. Do you believe the Kurds are safer today than they were before Turkey's invasion?
That's a question for Ambassador Jeffrey.
Okay.
I understand there's
Well,
a member briefing
I
happening.
understand.
I'm
Yeah.
the special representative for Iran.
Fair enough, fair enough.
And I can answer the Iran questions on Syria,
Okay,
but
fair enough. Okay, do you see Iran moving in to take the oil fields in Syria if we withdraw all of our forces?
I have not seen any intelligence on that yet, but that doesn't.
Do you think that would be a logical move for Iran if America abandons Syria?
Iran's interests in Syria are mostly around supporting Assad and creating a strategic
Well, if the oil
position
fields
to
are
attack.
there for the taking and we leave, what's the likelihood that Iran would go in, and would it matter?
That's not something which I'm at liberty to speculate on.
Okay, well, I'll speculate. Iran is massing at the border as I speak. If we withdraw all of our forces and abandon the oil fields, Iran will surely go in and seize the oil fields. It will undercut the maximum pressure campaign, and our friends in Israel will be in a world of hurt. Do you agree with this? If Iran gets stronger in Syria, it's to the detriment of Israel.
Yes.
Do you agree that it is in our national security interest to make sure that we have a partnership in Syria that will contain Iran's ambitions?
Yes, that is our strategy, to reverse Iran's power projection and to deny them the revenues.
Do you
they
agree
need
with
to
me
run their
that if
Syria
ISIS
policy.
comes roaring back, it will be very difficult to contain? The Kurds will have a hard time fighting Turkey and taking care of the ISIS prisoners. That's a bad spot for the Kurds to be in. Do you agree?
In terms of the position the Kurds are in, it's a question for Jim Jeffrey.
Yeah, well, who would be the biggest winner of a breakdown in Syria? Would it be the Iranians? If there's a vacuum created by an American withdrawal, do you see Iran as a potential big winner?
So I think we need to, this is obviously a very fluid situation. We don't want anything done in Syria to be to the detriment of our Iran policy.
Okay, now Iran policy is to contain Iran, reduce their ability to project power and create upheaval. Do you agree with that?
I didn't hear the last part. To do
To
what?
create upheaval.
Yes, we are trying to minimize Iran's
Okay.
ability to do that.
Do you agree that if they seize the oil fields in Syria, they will be stronger and have more resources, not less?
I don't know the odds of Iran taking
Okay.
the oil
If
fields
they
in
did.
Syria, but I
If-
can say that, so what we have tried to do is that Iran does
It's
try
a
to
simple
use,
question. If they did seize the oil fields in Syria, would it help their regime in terms of their capability?
if they're able to get more revenue,
Well,
then that's always a bad thing for
all I can say, that's not a hard question. The answer is yes. So my view is that the biggest winner of this decision by the president, if he follows through with it, to abandon Syria will be Iran, ISIS, and the biggest loser is going to be our Kurdish allies who fought bravely with us, our friends in Israel. And do you see Turkey's actions going into Syria as undercutting our policies toward Iran?
our diplomacy, so I would say our troops in the Northeast are there to ensure the enduring defeat of ISIS. Our diplomats working on Syria are there to,
Let's just talk about the troops are there to ensure the enduring defeat of ISIS by partnering with the Kurds. Isn't that correct? Syrian Democratic Forces.
beyond the ISIS mission and how it's accomplished.
But
I
we're
don't have
not
any
there in
comment.
large enough numbers.
Right.
We're there in hundreds. It's the thousands of Kurdish fighters and Arab fighters and the Syrian Democratic Forces that we rely upon. Do you agree with that?
That's a question, I think, for the person. I am the U.S. Special
Well,
Representative for
never
Iran. I'm
mind,
happy
never mind.
to speak to the Iran
I'll
question.
end this. I ask you a very simple question. Does Erdogan's invasion of Syria, putting our Kurdish allies at risk, driving President Trump out of Syria in terms of our military presence, do you think over time that will inure to the benefit of Iran?
I believe that the strategy that we have put in place will accomplish our objectives to deny Iran the revenue it
Does
needs.
your strategy include allowing Erdogan to slaughter the Kurds?
That is not part of our
Does
strategy.
your strategy include leaving the oil fields in Syria for the taking by Iran?
I have not heard
Okay, thank you.
any proposal to enable Iran to take oil fields in Syria.